Hello, parents and guardians, and welcome back to another Discipleship Debrief. So this past Sunday, CBC Youth was continuing in the book of Ecclesiastes. We returned to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 after Sam brought us forward last week into Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and we talked about the value of wisdom, how valuable wisdom is. And what's been really cool about this series in Ecclesiastes is even that word value should be really shocking by now, because we've really been studying vanity and the fact that everything is vanity. And so the fact that the preacher builds his argument in such a way that it stands out like a glowing orb, it stands out when something is valuable, that's really cool. It really shows the students just how intricate his argument is. And so we looked at the value of wisdom. And first of all, we saw the fact that even in the passages like in chapter 2 and in chapter 4 and in chapter 9, even in those passages, the preacher fully admits that wisdom is not the true source of happiness and that wisdom is not our true purpose in life. He also admits that it cannot protect us from the fallenness of the world, the fact that the world to us seems to have chance, and it cannot protect us from death. So wisdom is not our ultimate source of happiness, nor is it our ultimate purpose in life, nor will it protect us from fallen nature, nor will it protect us from death. And yet, it is not vain. The preacher does not call wisdom itself vain. That's really interesting. That's really surprising for the way the series has been structured thus far. And so that's really cool. It's really cool to see the argument develop in that way. And really, the thing that the preacher belabors about wisdom is that it has more inherent value than folly. And he talks about the fact that wisdom protects us from the destruction of foolishness, the destruction that foolishness brings. We see this in chapter 2, that wisdom is like walking with eyes in the light, and folly is like walking without eyes in the dark. Really simple way to understand it. Who's more likely to trip? A person who can see in front of them or a person who can't? Who's more likely to fall downstairs? Someone who goes down the stairwell with the lights on or one who goes down the stairwell with the lights off? That's the type of thing the preacher's saying. Wisdom makes us see the floor in front of us, protects us from those stumbling blocks through life, where folly just runs in blind. So that was the main value of wisdom that he kept returning to, is this idea that it protects us. It's not our purpose in life, and yet it's a valuable tool for the way that we live life. It protects us from damaging things, decisions that we regret and look back on and hate. That's what it protects us from. And we saw through the preacher's writing as well that wisdom is gained ultimately, first and foremost, through God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. From the Lord's mouth comes wisdom and knowledge. So first and foremost, it comes from God. We have to go to God if we truly want to be wise people. And second, it comes through counsel. In chapter 4, the preacher talks about better is a poor, wise youth than an old, foolish king who refuses to accept advice. Refuses to accept advice. Multiple times throughout the book of Proverbs, it says verbatim that wisdom comes through many counselors, but fools despise and reject wisdom. Counsel, advice, these things bring wisdom. We need wise counsel in our lives. We can't be isolated. We can't have tunnel vision. We can't refuse to accept counsel. Otherwise, we will be like the old foolish king that the preacher refers to. And so this really was where we left the challenge for the week. This was the thing I pushed them on most because it's a very practical application, right? Pray for wisdom, but also ask yourself a very hard question of, do you have anyone who gives you wise counsel? And this is where you, as the guardians and the parents in the home, you get to bring it back to that question. You get to ask them, and it's a pretty simple conversation, but ask them, do you have anyone who can give you wise counsel? Who do you go to when you need wise counsel? I reminded the students that if the answer to that question is just your friends, as good as it is to talk to your friends, that's not a source of wise counsel. They're pretty likely to be yes men. I gave the example of Solomon's son taking over from him even when Solomon was the wisest and most prosperous king Israel has ever seen. And even though he was sinful towards the end of his life, he still left the kingdom in this incredible state of prosperity. And his son takes over. And his son, the first thing he does is he fires all of Solomon's counselors. All of the counselors who with Solomon have brought about this prosperity in the kingdom, he fires all of them. And he hires his friends. He brings in his friends, the people his age, to be his counselors. And the advice they give him is just to do exactly what he wants to do. What happens when he does that? The kingdom splits. And the kingdom is split throughout the rest of the Old Testament because of the foolish rejection of counselors by Solomon's son. It's a very, very striking example of why we need wise counsel. And so ask your student if they have wise counselors that they go to. And I'm not saying in general, I'm saying ask for names and test the wise counsel that they seek so that you can tell if they truly are seeking it out or if it is just a bunch of yes men. So that is all I have for you this week. Next week, there will not be youth group as we'll be doing some yard work projects for people in the church. I'm looking forward to that greatly. 2 weeks from now is the reunion retreat, so still no youth group, but again, something I'm very, very excited for. So see you in a few weeks. If you need anything, please reach out. Otherwise, see you next time.